You really adopted the dark. I was born in it. Sir, yes, I do work.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? My name is Brandon. Most of my friends simply know me as B. Welcome to Blackish University, Griots in a Modern World. You guys might be asking, what exactly is a griot, right? Well, since the 13th century, the people of West Africa, they relied on griots to help spread information and knowledge from generation to generation. They were storytellers, musicians, but most importantly, they were oral historians of their communities. You know, today's reasons aren't that different. You know, I got kids, I got teenagers here where I consider myself a relatively hip dad, but I'm from the inner city of Chicago. You know, no dad, kind of ran the streets, was in the Audi home, and had my own trouble with the law back in that day. But I also brought myself out. You know, I went to Northern Illinois University, handled my associate's degree before that. I handled my bachelor's degree, continuing my education now. I've ran my own marketing company and own a couple properties and, you know, made my way out of Chicago. I still go back, but I find myself sitting with my kids and going over information that not everyone has to. You know, how to deal with the police, what to do when you're pulled over, what to do when you're accused of a crime. But I've also found out that these kids don't know a lot about Black history at all. And now they're diluted. They're kind of all mixed with Puerto Rican or Mexican, just as I am. I'm biracial myself. And, you know, let's be real. Our information is manipulated and censored. Our education system is all sorts of jacked up. You know, we got schools and universities that'll teach us everything you want to know about Christopher Columbus, and even Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. But, you know, you can't talk about Black Wall Street. Can't talk about slavery, the actual treatment of Native Americans, certain holidays that we have. You know, it's who shares that knowledge in our community? How does that get passed down, especially in these areas where there's no dad? I grew up, my dad wasn't around. I got lucky and I had an uncle who stepped up, but there were no guys in my entire household. You know, who gives you that information? You know, who tells you about our struggle? Who tells you about the civil rights movement? And I think if a lot of that happened, so many of these kids wouldn't be running around acting like fools if they knew, man, how hard we had to fight and our ancestors had to fight for the luxuries that you have today. So this is a place where we talk about our community. We might talk about the struggle. We might go over some music and do a couple reviews. And I might also go over information here about what to do when you're accused of a crime. What happens if you get caught with a gun? What happens when you make certain moves in the world that you might want to ask your dad, you might want to ask an uncle, you might not have that chance, you might not have that situation. This is a place you can be you. Let's vibe out. Let's go over information you need to know as a Blackish person trying to make moves in this world. We might talk about movies. We might talk about how to make moves in a relationship. But this is a place we can be ourselves. You know, I was involved with a lot of DEI committees back when I was more involved with the corporate world. The DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so many places get it wrong. So many places want to treat it like it's Black History Month and tell you who Martin Luther King Jr. is. Shoot out a couple quotes and order Subway sandwiches. And it should be so much more than that. You know, people ask, what can I do? What can I do as if somebody's a white person or a Spanish person or even Black, what can I do to help get rid of discrimination or help do my part to go against racism? You know, I tell them, I have something here. I have a website called blackishuniversity.com. Subscribe there. It's a community where we can have these conversations in a forum all to ourselves. But there's little things that you can do as a non-person of color, if you would. Show them people of color doing stuff. I'm in the suburbs now. I'm in a western suburb of Chicago. And man, when they see a guy walk up that's dark, tall, dark, and handsome with a big beard, some of these kids are like, I'm 6'1", 340 pounds. I'm a big dude. And it's like, wow, I wonder if that's the first time they ever saw a minority. Introduce them to minorities. Show them some of our, traditions, or some of the shows that we watch. Just make them feel less comfortable so it's not taboo to say black or talk about race. It's so weird in some places. It's like, one thing that I do, and you'll see on this channel here, there's a variety of bedtime stories. What's that for, right? It doesn't really vibe with the channel. That's so that you can, it's an easy place for me to pull up stories from my 5-year-old, and she always has a history of that. But you should introduce your kids to these bedtime stories because it's a person that doesn't look like them that's reading it to them. It's trying to get them to feel more comfortable with minorities and be more comfortable around people that don't exactly look like them. So check them out. There's some videos below. You'll see that I do everything from going over, it could be something cool like NFTs and crypto. It could be something like law and what to do when you're pulled over by the police. But it's how to make moves and how to survive as a Blackish person here in America. And let's talk about it. Let's have open conversation. I have a phone number listed below as well. You can call in. We can go over things live. I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm looking forward to the university without the government-led curriculum. Let's get it.